Okay, so today we will learn about Semamori. Semamori. So Semamori is not actually Sashiko, but it also is a very traditional Japanese stitching. Semamori means back protection in Japanese. So can you see the letter here? It's se, and se means back. Mamori in Japanese means protection. So semamori literally means back protection. And it's an amulet stitched on the back of children's kimono to protect them from evil. And you know, it's commonly said that this custom started in Edo era, which is almost 300 years ago. But you know, this picture in the file was drawn in Muromachi era, which is 700 years ago. And when I was looking at this book, it even says, so it says Semamori started in Kamakura era. So Kamakura era is about 1,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago. So it's commonly said it started from 300 years ago, but this book says 1,000 years ago. So anyway, it's very old tradition in Japan. I said it's stitched only on kids' kimono. So do you have any idea why it's only for kids? Anyone, any idea?
No.
It's obvious that, you know, kids die frequently in old days. So that's the one reason, of course, but there is more physical reason. Okay, so I will show you my kimono. All right, so this is one of my kimono. And I will show you the back. Can you see it? Yes. And you know, kimono is made from square fabric. So let me share. You know, this is sarashi fabric, and we always use this fabric to make sashiko fabric, sashiko stitching. And you know, this is almost same size, same width of the sleeve. Can you see? So this is the traditional width of Japanese fabric. So when we make kimono, we need one fabric for the sleeve and two fabric for the back and one more fabric for the other sleeve. Okay. Then I will show you kids kimono. This is kids kimono. Can you see the difference between kids kimono and adults kimono?
There's no seam.
Yeah. So, you know, kids are so tiny, so they didn't need to join two fabric. For the back, only one fabric is used, so there is no joint on the back. But, you know, in old days, Japanese people were thinking that stitching has a power to protect them. So, you know, kids kimono don't have a joint on the back. So that's why they stitched semamori to protect them, because they don't have a joint. The kids kimono don't have a joint on the back. Can you see this mark?
Yeah.
There is a mark on the back of my kimono, but it's not Semamori. Rebecca, do you know what's this?
It's the family crest.
Yeah. So it's called kamon, and it's not stitched. So it's not Semamori. Can you see it? So Semamori is only for kids. I've never seen Semamori stitched on the adult's kimono. Okay, so this time I want you to see this picture. So these two kimono were the actual one I found in the vintage kimono store. And it's not the motif, it's just a line. Can you see? So this is the original design of Semamori. At first, Semamori was stitched only with lines like these pictures. And there were some rules, and one of them is the direction. So when you stitch go this way, go down to the right, it's for girls. And when it's go down to the left, it's for boys. So can you tell these pictures, are they for boys or girls?
Girls.
Yes, they're both for girls. And you can tell that by the pattern of kimono as well. And you should see the stitch length as well. The girls' Semamori had long stitches, and the boys had short stitches. And there was one more rule. So we should count the stitches here. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 stitches. So these 12 stitches represents 12 months of a year. So originally, Semamori was stitched only with lines like them, and there were some rules. Girls go down to the right, and boys ones go down to the left. And there were differences in the length of stitches. But in either case, it was always 12 stitches. So this is a very original version of Semamori. This time, let's see this picture. Don't you think it's very similar to Semamori? It's not Semamori because, se means back. And this is not stitched on the back, so it's not Semamori. And we call them himokazari. Himokazari. And himo means string, and kazari means decoration. So it's very similar to Semamori, but it's more like for decorations. And when last week I was looking some children's kimonos in the vintage store, and I found lots of himokazari. But I only found 2 Semamori on the back. So himokazari is more common. But no, Semamori is more rare in these days.
Does himokazari have any symbolic meaning of similar to Semamori, or is just for decoration?
it has a meaning like protecting, because Japanese people think that stitching itself has a power, but it's more like for decorations.
Okay.
Okay, so some motif of semamori has unique meaning, but himokazari is more like a decoration purpose. Let's go to see the very old textbook. Okay, so are you seeing the book right now? Now we are diving into the National Diet Library digital collection, and it says Japanese sewing technique and women's manners. So that's the title of the book. And it was published 130 years ago. So this is a textbook, and let's see. Okay, so it looks so old. Okay, can you see the picture? So there are girls wearing kimono and learning the sewing skills. And we will jump to the page 31. So now you can see semamori. So there are various patterns. And let's see one more here as well. So the file I sent you today, almost all of them are from this old textbook. So they are all traditional ones. And each pattern has the name. Okay, so like this one is Uroko Guruma. This is Tsunagi Asanoha. So these two are Asanoha pattern, hemp leaf pattern. And there are some fun shape. And Musubi Noshi. So there were several patterns. And I tried to read this description, and I could read that how to transfer the pattern onto the fabric. And this textbook says when you transfer the pattern, you should transfer the pattern onto the paper first, like this one, and put it on the fabric and stitch with the paper together. So fabric and the paper together. That's the way this old textbook says. So I think in Japan, we have very thin paper for calligraphy. So maybe we were using the kind of very thin paper. But if you're trying to do that, you can use the tracing paper. Okay, so if you try to stitch the very intricate pattern, maybe you should try that way. But I will show you several ways to transfer the pattern. So you can choose your favorite way. No, it doesn't say. And there was a pattern, noshi pattern. Do you remember? Noshi, musubi noshi is this pattern. This one, noshi.
Yeah.
So I found this noshi pattern in the old textbook, but in only noshi pattern, there are lots of variations. So I will show you. So they are all noshi patterns. So I think it's countless. So many patterns and variations. Rebecca,
Okay.
do you know what noshi is? Noshi is it's more like a ribbon or bow,
Oh, yeah, okay.
but it's a Japanese way and made with the papers. And even now, when we go to the department store and when we buy some gift, we can order to put noshi on it.
Ah, yes, yeah, yeah.
Do you know that?
Yes,
So-
yes.
Yeah, so when we give something for a special occasion, we put noshi on the gift.
Yes. Okay.
So one way is transfer the pattern onto the paper and stitch with the paper all together. Okay, so I will show you the next one. It's here. So choose your favorite pattern and cut it out. I will try this dragonfly. So I will stitch this dragonfly pattern, tombo. So put the towel on the desk and put the fabric on the towel and put the paper on and tape it so that it won't move. And use something sharp and punch on the paper. So you can punch only the dots. And remove the paper. Then maybe you can't see it, but there is a holes. There are holes on the fabric. So you can stitch in the hole. And if you can't see it enough, you can mark on the holes, or you can just use this paper as a stencil. So you can mark on the paper. Or if you have a chalk paper, you can just transfer with the chalk paper. So there are several ways to transfer the pattern. So you can choose your favorite way and you can choose your favorite pattern and try to transfer the pattern on the fabric. Okay, then while you are transferring the pattern, I will talk about the thickness of the thread. So for the simple pattern like tombo or asanoha, like this one, you can use the thick threads like sashiko thread. And this one, the butterfly chocho, I stitched it with sashiko thread. So you can see the strong stitches, strong lines. But for the intricate patterns, it's better to use the thin threads. So for this one, folded crane, I use the normal sewing thread. And these motifs are stitched with silk threads. So it looks more delicate. So you should choose the thickness of the thread depending on the pattern. Sometimes when we go to the shrine market or vintage bookstore, we can find Semamori sampler book. And this is stitched on the paper, but you can see the knots on the back. So you can just make a knot and start stitching. And there's no specific stitching order for each pattern, but it's better to start stitching from the outline. So let's see. If you are stitching this Asanoha pattern, it's better to start stitching from the outline like this one. So this is a start. And you should go here and go backwards. Like this. And then stitch the outline like this. And stitch the inside to the center. So this is a basic way of stitching. Start stitching from the outline and go inside. Asanoha is good for baby, as I mentioned. And all of these 5 patterns are Asanoha pattern. And this one is Uroko Guruma. Uroko Guruma is a pinwheel. And it has been a very popular toy for children since very old days. And in Japan, we call this triangle shape Uroko. And Uroko means fish scales. So this is the pinwheel shaped like a fish scale. Uroko Guruma. And this is Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi. And Hishi, or in this pattern it says Bishi, but Hishi is the diamond shape. So, and Mitsu is the number of 3. So there are 3 Hishi diamond shape in here. And we have a variety of diamond shaped designs in Japan. This is one of them. And Orizuru. Orizuru. It's the folded crane. It's a symbol of longevity. And also we send Orizuru to sick people to pray for their quick recovery. This is Noshi. So this is the one we use when we gift something, so to show the regard of the giver. And this is Mitsuya. You remember Mitsu-san? This is the number of 3. So there are 3 arrows. I think this is a good pattern for boys. And there are some flowers like sakura, chrysanthemum, or clematis. And tombo and cho, or chocho. We call chocho. So when I stitched this one, did I divide into? Yeah, so I did like this. I did the outline and go inside, went inside and process. I'm stitching only with one color for each motif, but when I read the book, sometimes it says Semamori used two colors, white and red. So sometimes you should double white and red threads and stitch all together. And I have actually seen that type of Semamori in the store, and I found one in the book as well. So can you see white and red threads all together? And I also read that sometimes they use 5 colors all together, but I never seen 5 color stitched Semamori. So maybe 2 color is more common, or 1 color. You can just make French knots.
Okay.
It's better to go backwards. So when you go here, you should jump to the next point and go back.
Okay. Oh, so it's a giant back stitch.
Yes, that's right.
And then where do I go?
So next you should
I
jump
totally
to
remember. Yeah.
here and go backwards.
Oh.
So one, 2, 3,
Okay. Oh.
4, 5, and
Okay. All right.
I stitched with the line. Can you see it?
Yes.
So you can just start from the outside and go to the center part all around. So from here to inside, from outside to the inside,
Okay.
all around.
Can I change the color too of the
Yeah,
thread?
sure.
Okay.
And if you have a thin thread, it's better to use a thin thread
Yes.
because it looks more delicate.
Mm.
Mhm.
You should go to the same hole in the center.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so that you can make it beautiful.
Okay.
Semamori was originally stitched on kids' kimono, but in Japan we don't wear kimono like daily basis. So maybe you can stitch it on something you carry all the time, like tote bag or handkerchief. And this one I made, this is an amulet called omamori. So mamori is the protection, and o is the word to put to make it polite. So this is omamori. And when we go to the shrine, we can buy various omamori. And my daughter said that she would put her favorite stone in it.
Oh. That's
So
very cute.
maybe you can put your important thing or lavender or anything. When we do sashiko, we don't use hoops. But maybe if you have one, you can use hoop for semamori. If it helps you. It should be the small motif, because if you make it bigger, you have a long stitch.
Right.
So you can easily pick the threads. So maybe I think it's better to make it small, keep it
Okay.
small. You know, this is mine, and I like the back side as well somehow.
Hmm.
Ooh, yes. Beautiful.
Nice.
Front side again.
Everyone wants to see the wrong side.
Yeah.